State law now requires children up to the age of 8 to be placed in a child safety seat. And as a first responder, I support this new law. This month's safety check-in is all about properly installing these safety seats.
How far back this seat is.
Right, exactly.
She wanted to put it here.
I'm here with Captain Robert Johnson from the Phoenix Fire Department. We are at the Washington Activity Center for a car seat safety check-in right here in West Phoenix in District 5. Captain Johnson, thanks for joining me.
Glad to be here.
This is an important thing to do for the community, always, as you know.
Yes, yes. Number one reason why children are injured or die here in Arizona, motor vehicle crashes. And the very best thing you can do if you're involved in a crash is to stay in your seat. So the only way to stay in your seat is to be strapped into the vehicle correctly. And seat belts that are in cars, if you're not big enough, they just won't keep you in your seat the right way, and they could actually harm you if you're not big enough for the seat belts.
And that's why this type of an event is so important for the community, because we as adults have to remember to strap in, but what about our children, right? And many parents, they purchase car seats and they just assume that if they just strap them in, their child will be safe, but we know that that's not always the case.
That's true. Right now, years ago, it was close to 100%. Like it was a high 90s of miscorrect use as far as installations. Now, with the training and getting the word out, I'd say right now it's closer to 80% misuse, but 80% is still too high. So we still got to keep up with the training, offering education to parents and caregivers how to correctly use their child restraint.
Okay, well, let's talk about this seat. Give me some pointers, give us some pointers on what we should be looking for when we properly install a car seat.
Okay, well, but starters, let's start from birth. Okay, from birth to 1 year old is an infant, but we're going to go all the way up to 2 years old, keeping that child rear facing. Okay, if they're not 2 years old, their spine is not developed enough to take a forward crash. Now, if a 2-year-old was sitting in this seat strapped in, facing forward, and the car was involved in a crash, the 2-year-old's head will be projected forward like this, and what the pediatricians are finding is that they're getting a lot of neck injuries. So they're recommending that the children that are 2 years and younger ride facing the rear. Okay? So now if the crash is in the front, they have the seat behind them to protect their neck.
Okay.
Okay? Now, when we talk about using a car seat, we're going to talk about two parts. Putting the child in the seat and then putting the seat in the car. Now, to put the child in the seat, more car seats have this type of design. It's called a 5-point harness. You sit the child in there, you connect the crotch strap here. Okay, you're going to have a chest clip here, all right, and then we're strapped in here. Now, you're going to want the straps tight enough to where if you try to pinch some slack here, and you're able to,
then
it's not tight enough. You'll have to tighten it up some more. This clip right here, and it's a really common misuse that I see, when parents come in, they have the child in the seat, they'll have this clip down here close to the abdomen area. Okay, that clip needs to be at armpit level, high on the chest. And it's down here because it looks comfortable, and it is, but in a crash, if it's down here, it's easy for the child to come out of the seat during a crash. So that clip has to be at the armpit level, very important part.
So putting in a car seat is more complicated than one might assume. I know that Phoenix Fire Department is simply one of the most active fire departments when it comes to preventing harm in the entire country. So with that said, how often is Phoenix Fire doing something like this type of an event?
Well, these type of events, this is a major event. We'll hold major events like this once a quarter. I don't know, over the next few months we may have more than that, but typically we'll have once a quarter. But throughout the year, every week, 3 times a week, we have fitting stations at 3 different fire stations. Okay, so you can call, make an appointment. It's a free service, come down, let us take a look, and try to install the seat yourself. Come down, let us take a look at it, and if there's any misuses that we need to bring to your attention, we'll do that and make any corrections.
Captain Robert Johnson, thank you so much. For more information, log on to the Phoenix Fire Department's website or your Council District 5 website. And for the adults that are watching, seat belts are absolutely important. In fact, survivability will increase by 50% if, like Captain Johnson says, if you're strapped in and if you remain in that vehicle after a car crash. Please call my office if you have any questions about properly installing your child's safety seat. It is one of the most important things a parent can do. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of DTV. I'd like to thank our guests for joining me. I'd also like to hear from you. Please feel free to call my office, send an email, or visit phoenix.gov/District 5. And you can connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.